Good morning and welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting of 15 July 2026. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, Berrigan Shire Council's meetings are recorded. By speaking at a council meeting, members of the public agree to being recorded. Berrigan Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory, discriminatory or offensive remarks or gestures that are made during the course of the council meeting. Opinions expressed or statements made by individuals are the opinions or statements of those individuals and do not apply any form of endorsement by Berrigan Shire Council. Confidential matters of council will not be recorded. Recordings are protected by copyright and owned by Berrigan Shire Council. No part may be copied, recorded, reproduced or transmitted without the prior written consent of the CEO. Any recording is not and shall not be taken to be an official record of Berrigan Shire Council meetings or the discussion depicted therein. Only the official minutes may be relied upon as an official record of the meeting. A recording of the council meeting will be taken for administrative and minute preparation purposes only and is provided to the public for listening purposes to support council's statutory obligations. Berrigan Shire Council acknowledges traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and thrive. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, the peoples of these great nations. Their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and lands. Do we have any... We have no apologies or leave of absence. Do we have any applications for leave of absence? Attendance via audio-visual link, we have Councillor Hannan. Would someone move to accept that attendance? Councillor Nadakoa, seconded. Councillor Payne, all in favour. Thank you, carried. Confirmation of previous minutes. We haven't got the date of that meeting in there, by the way, but anyway, can someone move that we accept the meeting minutes for June council meeting? Councillor Stringer, seconder. Councillor Dennis, all in favour. Thank you, carried. Any interest to disclose? No, thank you. We have no mayoral minutes and no reports of committees. All right, so I propose to move as a block the following items, and I will go through to give an opportunity for questions. 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7 and 9.9. Do we have a mover of moving those as a block? Councillor Dennis, seconded. Councillor Nadakoa. I'll just go through to see if anyone has any questions. 9.1 is actions from previous council meetings. Anyone got anything for that one? 9.2 is councillor requests for June. 9.3 are development application determinations for July 2026.
Yes, I have a question.
Councillor Healy.
Just in regards to the slightly elevated result for the average assessment days, and it was attributed to, I think, a determination maybe of older or more complex DAs. Can we have clarity on how many applications are responsible for that increase, please?
Through you, Mayor. So it was actually twofold. We were very short in staff, but also there was one application that blew the average timeframes out. Because we received so few, it only takes an application to go above the norm, and it really blows out the percentage.
So it's just the staffing that, staffing was one of the...
Staffing was one of the issues. It was also another DA that was a more complex application. In the mix of that also, applications in regards to being considered through the state or the regional body also affect our average.
Okay.
And we're not in control of that. For argument's sake, there was one that was deferred 3 times.
Okay, thank you.
9.4 is the Biosecurity and Compliance Quarterly Report. 9.5 is the Investment Report for June. 9.6 is the Rabbit Control Program 2026. Councillor Payne?
Yes, I just wanted to check for clarity on the community engagement. It has local vets, but it doesn't have listed the Jerilderie Vet Clinic, and it also doesn't have the Berrigan Caravan Park on there.
Through you, Mayor, we can add the additional vets. In regards to the caravan park, are you referring to the fact that that's not a site that we're proposing to fumigate?
It says on the focus areas Berrigan Caravan Park.
Yes, so your second question is?
They're not on the community engagement though. Do they not need
They're
that?
on the list, but not.
Yeah, so we will advise them clearly in
Okay.
regards to going on their site
that's
and
right.
then taking fumigation, but yeah, we'll note that.
Thanks.
Councillor Healy?
Thank you. I was just looking at some of the dates in there, and I'm assuming that this has already begun, the process of consultation, because there is no 31st of June, but it was listed. I was like, I'm wondering whether I've got the month wrong or the date wrong here. But because it's all bar complete, is that right? We're rolling it out on, the fumigation should begin on Monday, so it's not really a draft, it's happening.
So it's twofold. It was happening on the basis that there was a notice of motion.
Yep.
We put a stop on it, dependent on obviously the noting of the report and the decision of council. We will then again inform the others and continue the consultation.
Yep. And my only other question was regarding the Finley Showgrounds. Were they consulted, or could they be added to the list of those initial sites for fumigation, please?
Noted.
Thank you.
Okay. 9.7 is the ICT modernisation program update for July. Councillor Healy?
Thank you. Just in regards to the major projects, I assume they've been deferred to the 26, 27 and 27, 28 financial years. I guess which projects have been deferred into those years, and particularly around those that the benefits will be to the community?
The ones that were deferred.
Yes.
The ones that were supposed to start last financial year were the network upgrades, but due to the constraints that we had, resourcing constraints that we had, we couldn't start them. But as of next week, we are starting those network upgrades and the ICT modernization program that some of the initiatives that were supposed to be started last year, we are starting them this year.
Okay. And I've just got a couple of questions on this, Mayor. The CRM, that part's under review, which I imagine will be, it's not quite in the design stage like the other areas of the project. So is there any update on that, on how that might be rolled out, or when that might be rolled out? What's maybe stopping it from becoming an in-design part?
So through you, Mayor, the customer request management rollout is on hold due to resourcing constraints again. We have essentially the key project sponsor of that rollout is having to perform higher duties at the moment to backfill another role. So we just didn't want to put them under increasing amounts of pressure or rush it and get it wrong. So we've put it on hold so that we can roll it out efficiently and accurately,
Right.
rather than just pushing through.
So it's designed, is that
So
what that
when-
means? I just assumed that in-design meant it hadn't actually been created as such.
So the platform's created. What we mean by InDesign is putting in our own parameters within the system. So, our response times, how we're going to set it up for a ratepayer or the community when they go onto the website, what that looks like, what options they have to select that then flow into the system. So, for example, if you see a pothole, how many steps do I have to take to click through on the website to get that request through? So we're trying to, take some time and make it as easy as possible for the community to use once it goes live. So it's not something that we want to rush, it's something that we want to get right, and we want to do it once and do it properly.
Okay. So there's no sort of expected timeline around implementation?
At this point in time, there's no expected time.
That's fine. And also just feedback, the current lodger request or concern it's smoother than what it has been in the past. I had to lodge one this week, so thank you for already updating that. Just final around the cybersecurity part, I saw that the foundational controls have been assessed or put in place. Have we undertaken a formal cybersecurity assessment around, in line with either the New South Wales cybersecurity guidelines or another set of standards, and how we're measuring against those?
Yep.
Because obviously that is something that we've been it's at the forefront of everyone's mind, cybersecurity.
Yeah, so a current state assessment has been done within the guidelines of Office of Local Government and Essential Aid.
Yeah.
And we are somewhat far behind, and some of the controls we are far behind because we have implemented some of the controls, but we haven't yet fully documented them. So that work needs to be completed, and the rest of the Essential Aid compliance activities will be done within this financial year. That's the plan.
Within this financial year, did you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Payne.
Through you, Mayor, the community, you're saying easier community engagement, is that pushing forward the Snap Send Solve that Council had before pushed forward as well, or not?
So you can already use Snap Send Solve. It's free, essentially. If you were to go and take a photo of something and send it through, Snap Send Solve would send it through to us automatically. We haven't got the paid feature. It is something we're looking into, but it'll be something that we'll probably look into down the line once we actually have the CRM up and running and working properly, because there's no point us implementing it now as we don't have the CRM capabilities for Snap Send Solve to flow into. So once it's up and running, that is something that we'll look to move to the paid feature.
Thank you.
Okay, we're up to 9.9, which are the ARIC meeting minutes. Questions on those? Okay, so we've got a mover and a seconder, and that's to accept all the recommendations as outlined in the relevant papers for the numbers I have already articulated. All in favour of those recommendations? Thank you, carried. So we will now go to item 9.8, which is the ARIC remuneration and terms of reference review. And Michelle's going to speak to that before we get into the recommendation.
Hi. The remuneration review has been in relation to what we've previously discussed around reviewing the amounts we've been paying our ARIC chair and our ARIC members. So we're proposing that we don't follow the New South Wales Treasury guidelines because they no longer really apply to local government, and that we base our payments on what our neighbouring councils and we'll benchmark it against those. So we're looking to reduce the per meeting payment for the chairperson to $1,500 per meeting, and the independent member to $1,000 per meeting.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
Do we see that this could impact, with that reduced remuneration, impact the quality or number of applications? I know that that's a hard question, how do you know? But is there, and also in addition to that, because we've added the overseeing the internal audit function to the chairperson's role, would they be provided with support to or training to be able to fulfil that?
The overseeing of the internal audit was always a function of the chair, just wasn't captured in the terms of reference. When we look at what our neighbouring councils are paying, we will be in line with those. We are also declaring all the positions vacant at the end of their tenures, and we are looking to use a recruiter to help us recruit for the ARIC. So at this stage, having preliminary discussions with the recruiter, they'll be looking to look for board of directors, looking further afield than what we would normally do using the tools that we have for recruitment. So I think we'll be okay.
So there'll be a different set of criteria for, is that what you were saying, with the board of directors, like the applicants? Is that?
It'll be the same criteria. We're just looking
Right.
further afield for the
looking
calibre of
through the
people.
board of directors.
Yeah.
So, okay.
People who've
Yeah.
been on boards.
Yeah.
And just in terms of the remuneration, for example, the Victorian Health Services, the major ones, about $250 a meeting. So that's not too bad, pretty generous.
Yeah, it's still quite
Yeah,
high.
yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay. So we have a recommendation that council adopt the recommended remuneration for the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee chairperson and independent members. We revoke the ARIC terms of reference adopted on the 19th June 2024 and adopt the attached revised ARIC terms of reference. We declare the positions on ARIC vacant from the end of the existing tenures and advertise to fill the positions based on the new remuneration. Do we have a mover? Councillor Nardikoa, seconded Councillor Brooker. Would either of you like to speak in favour of that?
I agree with the bringing the remuneration back in line with the neighbouring councils, and I agree with the update, including all of the descriptions on the terms of reference. So thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak against? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. All right, we're up to item 9.10, which is the Finley Log Cabin Museum and Mary Lawson Wayside Rest Committee of Management. And Michelle Koopman will be speaking to this one again.
Just stay. This is a follow-up to a resolution from May 24 meeting. Just through staff changes, this sort of was held over and the committee went on their merry way and became an incorporated association, but have not been dissolved as a Section 355. So this is really just to do an administrative ruling to get them off the Section 355, but also as an assistance to them, because they are a small committee, they are reliant upon grants, that the council help them fund their public liability insurance as they transition to the Incorporated Association. So I've suggested that we do this for 2 years.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, so we have a recommendation that council remove the delegation from the Finley Log Cabin and Mary Lawson Wayside Rest Committee of Management, applied under Section 355 of the Local Government Act 1993, and dissolve the Finley Log Cabin and Mary Lawson Wayside Rest Committee of Management in accordance with Clause 31.33 of the Berwick Shire Council Guide to Operations, Section 355 committees, and assist with securing and financing public liability insurance for 2 years as part of the transition to an incorporated association. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, would either of you like to speak in favour of this? Councillor Brooker?
Look, the cost, from what I can review, the cost is minimal for the insurance cover, and it's going to alleviate any complexities we have with the doubling up of the situation. So I don't believe that that's, okay, well, I do believe that it is a good idea.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. We will move to item 9.11, which is the renaming of the bird walk on Tocumwal Foreshore to the Judith Carlin Walk. And we have Josephine Cleveland speaking to this one. Thank you.
Hi everyone. We've received a request from the Tocumwal Foreshore Committee to rename the walk along the foreshore, which is currently known as the Bird Walk. It's not officially in any signage, but it is known as the Bird Walk, to the Judith Carlin Walk. And this is in honour of Mrs. Judith Carlin, who is still alive, however is unwell, I believe. She is a founding member of the Tokemore Foreshore Committee and has dedicated more than 40 years of voluntary service. We have requested that the Foreshore Committee provide us with a letter of support from Judith Carlin herself. We have liaised with the Crown Lands New South Wales, who don't foresee any issues, and also the Geographical Names Board. So,
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, so the recommendation is that Council endorse the proposed renaming of this section of walking track at the Tokemore Foreshore to the Judith Carlin Walk. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder, Councillor Dennis. Councillor Stringer, would you like to speak in favour of that? You need your microphone.
Sorry. I think it's a brilliant idea. This lady is just tirelessly given year after year after year. And I think it's the least we can do for her. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, all in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried.
thank you.
All right, we'll move to item 9.12, which is the Code of Meeting Practice for 2025, rescission of previous motion. Do we have anyone introducing this one?
Okay, so you will be aware that the 2025 Model Code of Meeting Practice has been removed, disallowed, and our instruction from OLG has been to rescind our adopted Code of Meeting Practice, which will in turn move us back to the 2021 Model Code of Meeting Practice. So when we did this, we're aware that the 2022 Code of Meeting Practice, which was adopted by Council, was adopted in 2022 based on the Model Code of 2021. We were unaware that there was a further adoption done in 2025 with just a few more alterations. So I'll let Julia talk as well regarding this. Because we're at the point where we decide whether we adopt the previous 2022 model or we move towards adopting the 2025.
Thanks, Michelle. So yes, there was a mix-up. So to be clear, the last Code of Meeting Practice that we adopted was on the 21st of January this year, 2026, and it was that for which the 2025 Model Code of Conduct applied. The former Code of Meeting Practice was adopted on the 22nd of January 2025. It's complicated, people. So I would like to move an amendment to the recommendation, and I do so having consulted with the CEO in relation to what is essentially a mix-up. So that would make the proposed motion that I'll move, that Council rescind the motion of agenda item 820 Code of Meeting Practice adopted at the 21 January 2026 meeting as per the 2026 Regulation and Circular 26-09 25 June 2026-A1000-9885 and reinstate the adopted Code of Meeting Practice by Council on 22 January 2025. So on the screen there it is missing a couple of words, but I can hand those over here, and I thus table also a copy of that Code of Meeting Practice from 22nd January 2025 that I'm proposing will apply moving forward. So I would like to move that. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Stringer. All right, does anyone have any questions or comments, because we didn't do those before I moved it because it's a bit complex? No, perhaps if I speak in favour first. Oh, you had a question, sorry, Councillor Dennis.
And as you said, it was complicated. It's quite complicated reading this, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I understand that we have to go back before we move forward. So, hence the decision we're making today.
Look, that's right. I understand the word on the street, and it is literally the word on the street. I don't know, it's not verified if it's correct. It's highly likely that the Minister will put forward another model code of conduct. He's not allowed to do so until the disallowance has passed by 4 months, or the disallowance has been reversed. It's not being reversed by the looks, so we've probably got at least a couple of 2 months if he then puts forward another model code. Then it raises questions as to whether that will go on public consultation before he makes the model code, and then we would need to put together a new code of meeting practice and put it on exhibition. So there's a long road ahead of bureaucratic process. Less than ideal. Nonetheless, here we are. Anyone else? Okay, so obviously this is what we have to do. So I've moved that, and we've got a seconder with Councillor Stringer. Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, all in favour of that with that amendment as stated, which should now be all on your screens. Excellent. Thank you, carried. All right, we're up to 9:13, which is our 2027 Ordinary Council meeting schedule. I wouldn't have thought that we need this to be introduced. The recommendation is that we adopt the schedule that's outlined in our papers. I don't feel the need to read them all out. Do we have a mover? Oh, you've got a question, Councillor?
I do have a question, sorry. Just with this, and with the going back to the other code,
Yes.
does that mean that the video link is the same rules as recently, where we have to have particular reasons why we can't attend by video link?
So that question really related to the last agenda item, but that's okay. In addition to the advice to rescind, there is a regulation that may or may not have yet taken effect, which the Minister will make, that will say that you can attend via audiovisual, but there are not specific reasons stated in that regulation. So, and we need to, actually, the regulation is that we need to live stream. It doesn't actually talk about attendance, but nonetheless, there's nothing in there that specifies that. That could change.
Thank you. The reason I asked being winter meetings at
Yeah.
night, hence the agenda timetable.
Yeah.
I just have one other question.
Yeah.
Do we have any indication, data or otherwise, around engagement of community, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon? It's hard to tell. Obviously, Facebook will show us how many people have watched, but actually that could just be you scroll by and it starts playing and counts you as a watch. Is there better engagement in the morning or after, or no difference?
Acting CEO?
Through you, Mayor, we only really can tell by log-ons, and I will be honest, I think a lot of those log-ons are internal staff looking at the actual council meeting. Generally, we don't find too much distinction between the numbers.
Okay. Any other questions? Councillor Brooker?
I did just notice there was no meeting scheduled for December.
That's correct.
Awesome.
If we do need one, we'll call an extraordinary. And I had that discussion with the CEO that perhaps we put it in there in case there's a DA or something. He felt it was better to add rather than subtract. So, Councillor Stringer,
May worries me,
why is that?
because it's 4:30, which means it's pitch black when we're going home.
We've done June, July, August as 9 a.m. We did May at 4:30 this year.
Yeah.
It was okay, but
Yeah,
you can
and I
attend
missed-
online.
And I missed the kangaroo by about this much. It's being that Tokemore councillors are almost the furthest away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Did you want to make it half an hour earlier?
Yeah.
4 p.m. on the
Yeah.
19th of May.
Yeah.
Councillor Hannan, we've got more questions about when we're meeting than anything else today. Go ahead.
It's interesting that when we first brought this flexibility in meeting times to the council a few years back, it was to try and encourage people to apply to become councillors in the future.
Yeah.
Noting that we do have 6 of the 10 dates starting at 9 a.m, so we haven't really, created that flexibility going forward. I mean, cars do have lights, and I'm sure that, being at dark or being at light shouldn't be too much of a disruption of attending a meeting. I just think going forward for further, we're only 18 months away from council elections, and I think going forward that we need to be flexible in our meeting times, as in attracting more people who want to stand for council, because as we know at the last election, we didn't have anybody stand and we had to go to a by-election, which cost council in the end.
So perhaps something we could do, I think we should set some times today, so we've set some times, but we could talk about consulting with the community, but, would you be more interested in becoming a councillor? What time would suit you best? And actually doing some genuine consultations. So maybe that's something that we could consider. Because we do need to, it's a fair point for Councillor Hannan, we need to start building up some leadership capacity in the community and getting out there and promoting the fantastic role of being a councillor that we've all undertaken for nearly 2 years so far this term. Councillor Hannan?
And also, sorry, if I just could further add to that, is that we are one of the only councils that still does meet during the day.
We could do it as an action. Do we need to move it as an action so that we've changed the time, and the action being to consult with the community on preferred meeting times in the event that they had an interest in becoming a councillor. I haven't worded that very nicely, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we've got the times with 4 o'clock on the 19th of May. Of course, we can at any time resolve to change these during the course of the year. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Narakoa. Okay. Do you wish to speak any further on that, Councillor Stringer?
Yeah, I just wonder whether we could swap one around. So the winter months we do mornings. Like October's a 9 o'clock start. We could swap October to 4:30, and we'd still all be going home in daylight.
Yeah.
And we could bring May back to 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be going home in daylight.
Yep.
It's still the same ratio.
Well, if we're going to do that, we might as well go 4:30 February, March, April, and then 9 a.m. May, June, July, August, and then 4:30 September, October, November.
Well, it means we're going home in daylight.
Okay, right, we're
It's a safety
making
factor.
wholesale changes here. And you can attend online at the moment until the Minister changes his mind. Councillor Hannan.
Oh, it's just, I'll reserve to on that comment.
Okay, so would you like to move an amendment to your amendment?
Yeah. Sorry. I'd like to move that we run our winter months at 9 a.m. so that we're going home in daylight, and our summer months we can go to the 4:30, so we're still going home in daylight, which is a safety factor for the councillors.
Are you more referring to daylight savings and non-daylight savings,
No,
as opposed to
I'm
summer and
referring
winter?
to when we hold a meeting in, where are we?
Well,
May at 4:30, it's
Yeah.
pitch black when we're going home.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I'm just clarifying
Yeah.
that you're looking at when it's not daylight savings, having them in the morning, when it is daylight savings and you have longer hours in the day.
No, I haven't taken daylight savings into account at all. I'm just working out that in winter we should be meeting in the morning for our own safety. Yeah.
So let's be clear. Sorry, Councillor Hannan.
Just a point of order, we are meeting in the winter months at 9 a.m.
Yes.
Councillor Stringer's aiming to change the month of May, which is in autumn, to 9 a.m.
Yes. Thank you for the clarity. So, is it what you want?
Yes.
That 4:30 in 4:30 p.m. for February, March, April, September, October, November, and all the rest at 9 a.m.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Has everyone got that? So it's on the screen what we're proposing. So we have, that's the amendment moved by Councillor Stringer. Do we have a seconder? Seconder for those times? Councillor Natikoa. Okay. Would you like to speak any further in favour of this?
No, I think
Okay.
I'm fully explained.
Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, all right, we'll put it to the vote. The times articulated on the screen in front of you. Can I see hands? Okay, thank you, carried. Remarkable. The one thing we get the most questions about, anyway. We have a notice of motion, which is at 10.1, which is an arts program, which is from me. I have been, before I go into the recommendation, I've met with Art Tokemwall and I have been speaking broadly about a potential arts grant program for a little while. I circulated to Council the strategy and plan that Art Tokemwall have developed. They've done quite a bit of work. They've become incorporated as part of TCDC, and I think it's very positive, particularly with Future Tokemwall, to have arts groups such as Art Tokemwall and others in other communities who are actively involved. I'm thinking about the silo in Berrigan also, in beautifying our towns. And so this is an opportunity to tidy up our policy, get some good information out there and actively encourage those groups in the work they do. So the recommendation that I put forward is that Council note the review of Council's public art policy is occurring as part of the overall review of all of Council's policy. Requests that practical written guidance for community members be published following that review. Request the CEO to evaluate the merits of a possible arts grant program to be considered as part of the 27-28 budget process or earlier if budget becomes available, incorporating guidelines for community groups to collaborate with Council on public art installations, and instructs the CEO to meet with relevant stakeholders, including Art Tokemwall, as part of the policy review process and assess current proposals from community groups under the public art policy framework. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Payne. I've already spoken about this. Does anyone else wish to speak for it?
It's more of a question that I have, Mayor. I know it says including Art Tokemwall, but I would assume it's including but not limited to, just with Finley Arts Network being in one of our buildings in Finley and being quite active.
I only actually specifically called them out because it was Art Tokemwall who approached me and motivated the notice of motion. Yeah. There was no other intention to limit. In fact, quite the opposite. Yeah, I'm happy to amend it, including Art Tokemwall and other relevant arts groups that are known in the community. A seconder, happy with that? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyone wish to speak against? All right, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. The order is not quite right, but we're going to run with it today. The Mayor's report is next before confidential matters, but let's just do it. On the 19th of June, a couple of other councils also came along to the Bullinginia Dreaming. They currently have a short-term program in addition to the regular program of holograms. It was really quite good, and as usual, it's a great night out there. I travelled to Canberra with Councillor Brooker and with our CEO, Cameron Boorman. 22nd of June, I was in Canberra and I attended the Australian Council of Local Government at Parliament House. A number of ministers spoke at that event, which was interesting. 23rd of June at we went to the Australian Local Government Association's regional forum, which was the Tuesday of that week in Canberra. They this year had a regional forum and also a metro forum. It didn't work so well. I don't know what they'll do in the future. And then we had National General Assembly on the 24th and 25th of June. There were some interesting speakers, and as usual, the debate on motions was riveting. 29th of June, sorry, made everyone laugh. I met with the Art Tokemall, which I mentioned in my notice of motion. We had our professional development on the 1st of July, caught up with the CEO on 6th of July. I attended the Bob Brown Memorial in Tokemall on the 8th of July. That was a lovely event, someone who has contributed so vastly to the community. It was a real tribute. On Monday, I met with Brett, the Executive Officer for Ramjo. I had put forward a notice of motion at the last Ramjo meeting about the structures of the meetings and making them more productive and strategic, and was talking through how that will progress at the August meeting. And then got the council meeting today. Would someone like to move to accept my report? Councillor Nardikoa, seconded. Councillor Payne, all in favour in accepting that report? Thank you, carried. Could I ask someone to move us into closed council? Councillor Nardikoa, seconded. Councillor Payne, all in favour? Thank you, carried. All right. Okay, we've just come out of closed council in which we discussed 3 commercial in confidence matters, 2 of which related to future lease tenancies for the Tokemore foreshore building, and 1 other that we can't disclose at this time. We'll now move to agenda item 14, which is councillor reports. I've already given my report, so I'll start with the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Payne.
Just the development session at the start of the month and today's meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Natakawa.
Just the development session at today's meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis.
Wonderfully got to attend the Bullinginia the celebration and opening of their new instalments. Absolutely brilliant. And the rest of the council work.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker.
I had the pleasure of attending Canberra for the National General Assembly in June. I also spent a day at Parliament House discussing water with some politicians as well, the development session. And last week on the 7th I had an online meeting in regards to the Murray-Darling Basin Review with the Murray Regional Strategy Group, and then today's meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Hannan.
The workshop, today's statutory meeting, and the Bob Brown Memorial.
Thank you. Councillor Stringer.
Oh, sorry. I attended the Foreshore Committee's AGM, the workshop, the Bob Brown Memorial, and just today's meeting.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Stringer. And Councillor Healy.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Bullinginia Dreaming launch of their new part of their, what do you call it, instalment? Yeah, can't think of the word right now. I also did the tree planting in Berrigan, where the community planted approximately 2,000 trees in the tank paddock, natives. That was a project with the land care. And the professional development and council meeting.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Healy. So we will conclude our meeting. Just a couple of things I'd like to call out. Cobram Barooga Business and Tourism have a business breakfast 7 a.m. this Friday at Sporty's Barooga. You can RSVP to Cobram Barooga Business Tourism directly. And I'd also like to shout out the TCDC will be turning the Tree of Knowledge lights on at 5:30 p.m. this Friday, so I'll be busy at both ends of the day, and I hope to see other people joining me also. So we'll conclude today's meeting of 15 July at 10:02 a.m. Thank you, everyone.